I had cancer, and honestly, I should not be here right now. I was told that I have less than 50% chance of surviving because the cancer was this close from reaching my brain. Now, the cancer that I had was growing rapidly, and if we didn't catch it at the time that we did, it was only a matter of days before it was too late. So growing up, I was just a normal kid. The first 2 years of my life, I was a happy kid and I had nothing wrong with me, and I was playing all the time, very enthusiastic and everything. And all of that changed when my mom took a photo of me. And you might be wondering, how can a photo change everything? Well, this photo did not only change everything, it completely saved my life. So when I was about 2 years old, my mom took this photo of me eating cake as a child, and she noticed a strange gold film in my eye. She just thought that was kind of odd, but didn't think anything of it. And then a few days later, she took a picture with me and this hanger right here, and she noticed that same gold film. And then she started to get very, very concerned because she has never seen anybody in her entire life with a weird gold looking film in their iris of their eye. So she began to panic. So she took one last photo before she decided to show any doctor or anything these images. So she took this picture with me and my brother, and once again, she noticed this very, very strange gold film in my eyeball. So she started to freak out because she's never seen anything like this before. And in her mind and in her gut, she knew something was seriously, seriously wrong. So about 1 week later, my mom was at the doctor's with my sister, who was just born, at her 2-week checkup. And my mom showed these pictures to the doctors, and the doctors were also very, very concerned and very confused because they had never seen anything like this, where a young child has a gold film in their eyeball, and quite honestly, they've never seen a photo ever with a gold film in someone's eyes. So the doctors did what they could to try and figure out what it was, but ultimately they had no luck at all. And that's when they decided to rush me to a different hospital about 2 hours away and see what was going on. And well, I literally spent 2.5 weeks inside of this hospital trying to figure out what this problem was with my eyeball. And well, after 2 weeks of tests and x-rays and all sorts of lab work, they finally figured out what the real problem was. So the doctors entered into my hospital room and they told my parents that Jarrett has a rare type of cancer in the retina of his eye called retinoblastoma. And they told my parents that retinoblastoma is an extremely rare cancer that is only found in 1 in 50,000 cases. And what it is a cancer in the very, very back center of your eyeball, which is extremely close to your brain. And this is when the story gets very, very interesting. So after they diagnosed me with this cancer, led to the most important decision that we would ever have to make. My parents asked, well, what do we do next? What is the possibility? What can we do? And the doctors ended up giving my parents 2 different options because I was only 2 years old, so I could not make the decision myself. And well, they gave my parents 2 insanely difficult options. Option number 1 was to go through chemotherapy, which would allow me to keep my eyeball. However, there was less than a 50% chance that I would survive because it was already so close to my brain. And option number 2 was to remove my eyeball and take out all of the cancer with it. So 1, my parents could keep my eye, however, less than a 50% chance that I would survive. And 2, remove the cancer, but live life being different with 1 eye. Now, this was insanely hard for my parents to decide because they didn't want their child to pass away, but they also didn't want their child to live life being different and having 1 eyeball and looking much different from everyone else. So my parents started thinking, and they asked the doctor, can you possibly take out my eye and give it to my child Jarrett so he can take out all the cancer and still have 2 eyes. And well, the doctors told my parents that eye transplants don't exist. So that was it. My parents had to make a decision: go through chemotherapy or take out my eye and remove all of the cancer with it. And well, my parents chose to remove my eyeball and take out all of the cancer because they didn't want to risk the chance that I would pass away. So the very next day, it was time. It was time for me to undergo surgery where they would remove my eyeball and take out all of the cancer with it before it was too late, because it was this close from expanding and reaching my brain. So I went into the surgery room with 2 eyes, and hours later, I came out of surgery with 1 eyeball, and this is the first photo of me with 1 eye with my dad right after surgery with the gauze on top of my eye socket without an eye. And then a couple weeks later, this was the first photo of me with 1 eyeball. And here's another photo of me with 1 eye. And ever since that day, September 16th of 2002, I have lived life with 1 eyeball and me surviving cancer. But growing up, I was always bullied and made fun of for being different. Every single day, I got called names and picked on. And I dealt with that my entire life. I did not know how to respond. I just kept it all inside, and it built up. And well, in 2020, I decided to take a stand for myself and for everyone else that has 1 eyeball. And I shared my story on social media and showed the difference of having 1 eyeball and how it worked, because no one had ever done that before. And well, that's when my story started to grow. I was getting hundreds of messages from other people with 1 eyeball telling me that I inspired them to stand out and be different and embrace who they truly are and share their story as well. And over the past 6 years, we have grown to over 20 million followers on all platforms, including nearly 10 million here on YouTube. All through these prosthetic eyeballs right here, I have gotten some of the craziest eyeballs to ever exist, like the spiked eyeballs, a whole bunch of anime eyes, dragon eyes, glow-in-the-dark eyes, and so many more eyeballs. So I am super grateful for the decision that my parents made, because I feel like God put this in my life to help inspire others with differences and disabilities to embrace who they truly are and make the most of it, because we only get 1 life. So if you are watching this right now, thank you so much for listening to my story. I would really appreciate it if you dropped a like on this video and hit that subscribe button so we can get to 10 million subscribers this year, because the rest of this year I am going to be getting some of the craziest eyeballs to ever exist, and I can't wait to show you guys. So with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Drop a like on this video, make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you guys in a couple of days. Peace!